Good morning, dear friend. The sky is still pale with the hush of early light. The world has not fully stirred yet. You can hear the faint whisper of the wind brushing against the window pane. And somewhere in the silence, a sacred invitation is waiting. There is something holy about this hour before the demands begin, before voices rise, before the heaviness of the day tries to reclaim its place. This is a threshold moment, a quiet space where heaven leans close and the soul has room to breathe. Maybe you have opened your eyes this morning with a weight already on your chest. Maybe sleep felt more like escape than rest. Perhaps you are carrying something you have not dared speak out loud. For one person listening now, the pain is fresh grief from a goodbye you did not see coming, a door that closed too soon, or a doctor's report that shook the ground beneath your feet. For another, it is not one big moment, but the accumulation of small heartbreaks, disappointments that stack themselves like bricks, building a wall you did not mean to live behind. Fear does not always shout. Sometimes, it simply lingers in the questions no one answers. But here you are, awake in the early morning, still breathing. Baffled, still searching. Still hoping that maybe today, something will change. And that longing in your heart, it matters. It is not weakness. It is a sign that your soul is still alive, still reaching. And the one who created that soul is not distant from your ache. This is more than a morning. It is an altar. Prayer is not a performance. It is not a ritual you do to impress heaven or earn protection. It is a conversation. It is the place where your deepest fears meet the voice of the one who still holds you, where your confusion is not dismissed, but gently unraveled, where your weariness is not ignored, but answered with presence. This is where healing begins, not always in instant miracles, but in the slow, sacred process of being seen, known, and loved by God. You do not need perfect words. You do not need to pretend you are strong. You just need to show up. That is where power starts. Because faith is not the absence of fear. Faith is deciding to pray even when your voice shakes, even when you are not sure what to say, even when the evidence around you seems to mock the promises you have held onto. There is still power in the name of Jesus. There is still protection for the ones who dwell in the secret place. There is still covering for the weary, still peace for the restless, still hope for the one who almost gave up. So take a breath. Let the silence steady you. Let the quiet of this hour become your sanctuary. Not every battle needs noise. Some victories are won in stillness. This is your space, your time, your moment to draw near. If your heart is ready, let us begin this sacred conversation with God. Dear Heavenly Father, I come to you in the quiet of this early hour with a heart that is heavy and tired. I will not pretend I am strong today. I do not come with polished words or well-crafted faith. I come undone. There is a weight in my chest that I cannot name. It sits there like a silence that refuses to move. It is not just one thing. It is everything all at once. The disappointments I never voiced. The fears I kept buried so no one would worry. The questions I whispered only to my pillow. I come with all of it, because I have nowhere else to go but here. No one else who truly sees but you. You know what I carry even before I speak it. You saw the tears that never fell. You heard the sighs I tried to hide in my breath. You watched me press through another day, not pretending I was okay. And you did not turn away. You stayed. You stayed through the silence. You stayed through the ache. You stayed through the long nights where sleep would not come, and peace felt like a stranger. You did not scold me for feeling weak. You did not shame me for wondering why. You just kept being near, even when I could not feel it. Even when I doubted you were there, you stayed. So I come again, not with answers, not with confidence, but with surrender. I open my hands. I unclench my fists. I stop pretending. Because what I need most right now is not a solution. I need your presence. I need to know I am not alone in this place. I need to know that someone still holds the pieces I have dropped, that someone still sees the road ahead, even when I am too tired to take the next step, that someone still believes there is a purpose in the pain, and that someone is you. You said the one who dwells in the secret place of the Most High will abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I want to believe that. I want to dwell there, not visit, not pass through, but live there, breathe there, heal there, rest there. I want your shadow to be my covering when the world feels too loud. I want your presence to be my shelter when fear knocks at my door. I want your truth to be louder than the lies that replay in my mind. I want your nearness to be enough when everything else feels uncertain. I do not have the strength to fight today, but I am learning that I do not have to. You never asked me to win battles you already claimed as yours. You asked me to trust. You asked me to stay close. You asked me to lean in. And so I do, not because I understand everything, but because I trust your heart even when I cannot trace your hand. I trust that you are still working behind what I cannot see. I trust that you are still God in the waiting. I trust that you are still kind, even when life feels harsh. I trust that your silence is not absence, and your delay is not denial. You are still here. There are moments when the pain rises uninvited, when the past replays like a loop I cannot turn off, when hope feels like a fragile thread, and I am afraid to hold it again. But even then, I choose to believe that you are near to the brokenhearted, that you bind up wounds no one else can reach, that you hold every tear in your hand, that you remember every cry, even when the world forgets. I choose to believe that this valley is not my end. It is just a place I pass through, with you. And if you are with me, then even the shadows cannot claim the final word. I do not ask for everything to be fixed today. I ask to be held. I ask to be steadied. I ask to be seen in the places I have tried to hide. I ask for peace that reaches beneath the surface. I ask for rest that touches more than sleep. I ask for hope that does not depend on circumstances. I ask for a quiet strength that carries me through this morning without breaking. And I know you hear me. I know you are listening, not because I earned it, but because you are good, always good. I bring you the parts of me I do not show anyone else, the weariness I cover with smiles, the doubt I bury beneath service, the pain I downplay so others are not uncomfortable. I bring it all to you, because you already know, and you are not overwhelmed. You are not ashamed. You are not impatient. You are the only one who can hold what I cannot carry. You are the only one who understands the storm behind my silence. You are the only one who stays when everything else shakes. So I let go, not of responsibility, not of wisdom, but of the illusion that I must be everything all the time. I let go of the pressure to prove that I am okay. I let go of the fear that falling apart means failure. I let go of the lie that I have to fix myself before I come to you. I let go of shame, of striving, of self-protection, and I take one step closer, even if that step is just a breath, even if it is just this moment. Dear Heavenly Father, I want to be found in your shadow. I want to be marked by your presence. I want to be known not for how I kept going, but for how I kept coming back to you. When I was tired, when I was bruised, when I had nothing left to give, I kept coming back because you were always waiting, with mercy, with tenderness, with no condemnation, just love. I may not feel strong, but I am here, and maybe that is enough. Maybe just being here is where healing begins. Maybe just breathing in your nearness is where strength returns. Maybe this is the beginning of something holy, something deeper than words, something real, something that changes how I walk through today. So I stay. I do not run. I do not hide. I stay right here with you. Lord, it is hard to admit how often I try to carry what was never mine to carry. I hold burdens as if they are assignments. I take on pressure like it is my purpose. I respond to fear as though it is a map, and yet, somewhere deep in me, I know I was never built to be my own savior. Still, I forget. I forget to let you lead. I forget that surrender is not weakness. I forget that stillness can be an act of war. I forget that silence before you can roar louder than all the noise that surrounds me. I forget, but you do not. You never forget that I am dust, that I am limited, that I am easily overwhelmed by what is meant to draw me to you. You never forget that I was formed to lean, not just to stand, that I was designed to need, not just to provide, that I was created to trust, not to control. You never forget what I lose sight of. And in your mercy, you remind me again not with shame, but with kindness. You whisper into the middle of my striving that this battle is not mine. It belongs to you. So I breathe again, not because the problem has changed, but because the weight has shifted. I take my hands off what I cannot solve and open them to what you want to place there. You are not asking me to fix what is broken. You are asking me to believe that you still mend. You are not asking me to have the answers. You are asking me to believe that you are still wisdom. You are not asking me to fight with my own strength. You are asking me to remember that you are still God. When the voices of fear rise early and uninvited, I often try to reason with them, argue with them, outthink them. But today, I will not entertain their noise. I will not sit in counsel with worry. I will not build my decisions around panic. I will lift my eyes higher, higher than the bills, higher than the doctor's report, higher than the silence in the room, higher than the shadows in my thoughts. I will lift my eyes to the hills, to the one who has never lost a battle and never will. You do not panic when I do. You do not rush because I feel late. You do not scatter because I feel lost. You remain. You rule. You reign. You are not shaken by the things that shake me. And if you are not shaken, then maybe I do not have to be. Not because the storm is not real, but because you are more real. Not because I am brave, but because you are present. Today, I let go of the illusion that I am in control. I lay down the fear that if I do not hold it all together, everything will fall apart. You are the one who holds all things. You hold the oceans in place, and still you see me. You stretch the skies each day, and still you steady my heart. You command the stars, and still you call me by name. If you can hold galaxies in orbit, surely you can hold me. Teach me to stop measuring peace by outcomes. Teach me to find rest not in results, but in your nearness. Teach me to stop rehearsing every possible scenario as if anxiety could protect me. It never has. It only steals joy that has not yet even arrived. It only blurs the beauty that is still being formed. It only robs me of trust, and I want to trust again. Let my trust be louder than my timeline. Let my trust be stronger than my tension. Let my trust be rooted, not in perfect circumstances, but in a perfect Savior. You do not need my clarity to move. You only ask for my faith. Not a flawless faith, not a loud faith, just a willing faith. A faith that whispers, even when shaking, God will fight for me. I need only to be still. I will not be defined by the size of my struggle. I will be defined by the size of my God. I will not be named by the fear that speaks first. I will be named by the one who spoke me into existence. I will not be intimidated by the waiting. I will let it become the place where my faith finds roots, where my heart finds rhythm, where my hope grows deeper than my fear ever dared to go. Let this stillness not be emptiness. Let it be expectancy. Let it be filled with the quiet power of a heart resting in the hands of the Almighty. Let it be holy ground, the kind that reminds me that sometimes the most powerful move I can make is to stop moving and start trusting. Not everything needs my reaction. Not every crisis needs my commentary. Not every decision needs to be made today. What I need most is to remember who you are and who I am in you. You are not pacing the floor of heaven, wondering how to help me. You are not confused. You are not surprised. You are not frustrated by my questions. You are steady, and in you, I can be steady too, not by trying harder, but by staying closer, not by pushing forward, but by bowing lower, not by solving, but by surrendering. This battle is yours. Every unseen pressure, every spoken threat, every silent fear, every closed door, every anxious thought, every lie that tries to steal my sleep, every weight I cannot carry anymore, I place them all into your hands. Not because I understand how you will work, but because I believe you will. I trust your hands more than I trust my own understanding. You see what I cannot. You know what I do not. You move in ways I may never comprehend, but have always been covered by. I choose to believe that stillness is not delay. It is strategy. That worship is not weakness. It is warfare. That trust is not laziness. It is alignment with heaven. That rest is not retreat. It is the mark of a child leaning on a faithful father. I step back so you can step forward. I quiet the noise so I can hear your whisper. I release the outcome so I can receive your peace. I hand over every piece that overwhelms me and wait here, not in fear, but in faith, because you promised that the battle is not mine, it is yours, and you never lose. Father, if this battle belongs to you, then I no longer have to be bound by what has tried to hold me hostage. If you are fighting for me, then it is time for every chain to fall, not just the visible ones, not just the ones others can see, but the hidden ones too, the quiet weights that I have carried for so long. they have started to feel familiar. The shame I never spoke of, the fear I buried so deeply, it shows up in every hesitation. The self-doubt that follows me like a shadow, the regret that whispers at night. If you are my deliverer, then I bring you not only my battles but my bondage. You know where the chains began. You know the moment fear first entered. You know what broke me, even when I pretended it did not. You know the history behind the habits. You see the lies I started to believe without even realizing it. That I am too much, or not enough. That I missed my chance. That I deserve to stay stuck. That freedom is for others, but not for me. You hear every voice that has shaped how I see myself. And you speak a better word. You speak truth that does not waver. You speak love that does not withdraw. You speak identity that is not based on performance or perfection. So today I say what maybe I have never dared to say out loud. I want to be free. I want to walk without fear following behind. I want to speak without second-guessing every word. I want to rest without guilt gnawing at my peace. I want to believe without the weight of disappointment dimming my hope. I want to forgive without keeping score. I want to live like someone who has truly been redeemed. Lord, I do not want to manage my chains anymore. I want to break them. I do not want to decorate my prison. I want to walk out of it. I do not want to make peace with what you have given me power to overcome. So I take a deep breath, and I name what has tried to name me. I call out the spirits of fear, rejection, comparison, bitterness, anxiety, shame, and hopelessness. Dude, I do not make room for them. I do not negotiate with them. I do not entertain their presence. I evict them by the authority of your name, not because I am strong, but because you are present, not because I know how, but because you already have. Let every lie lose its grip. Let every cycle be interrupted. Let every voice that echoes condemnation be silenced. Let every memory that binds be healed. Let every fear that paralyzes be replaced with courage. Let every curse that lingered be broken. Let every agreement I made with insecurity, even unknowingly, be renounced. Let the patterns that have followed generations in my family stop with me. Let the story take a different turn because I chose to believe that your power is greater than my history. I know now that freedom is not always loud. Sometimes it begins with the smallest shift, a choice to respond differently, a decision to stop replaying what they said, a moment of courage when I forgive even though the pain still stings, a pause before I let anxiety lead me, a whisper that says, I am no longer that person. I am not the one who has to perform to be accepted. I am not the one who always gets overlooked. I am not the one who is too broken to be used. I am yours. Break every chain. God, not just for me, but for the ones watching me, for the ones I lead, for the ones I love, for the ones who will follow my footsteps. Let my freedom be generational. Let it run deeper than behavior. Let it touch belief. Let it rewrite identity. Let it change the atmosphere of my home. Let it shift how I speak, how I show up, how I live. Let the enemy regret ever trying to bind what you have already called free. I choose to come out of agreement with hopelessness. I choose to stop rehearsing failure. I choose to stop bowing to fear. I choose to stop letting disappointment decide my level of faith. I choose to align with truth. And truth says I am a new creation. Truth says, who the sun sets free is free indeed. Truth says, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Truth says, you restore the years the locusts have eaten. Truth says, you make all things new. I may not feel like a warrior yet, but I can still speak like one. I may still tremble, but I will not be silent. I may still feel the pull of the old patterns, but I will not return to them. I am stepping forward, even if I stumble, even if I cry, even if I question. I am moving in the direction of freedom, not because I see every answer, but because I believe you are walking with me. And where you walk, chains cannot stay intact. If you are the God who parts seas and opens prison doors, then surely you can part this fear and open this cell. If you are the one who leaves the 99 for the one, then surely you see where I have wandered and are already leading me home. If you are the one who speaks peace to storms, then surely you can speak to the chaos inside me. And if you are the one who defeated death, then surely the weight I carry is not too heavy for you. So I declare again, not to impress you, but to remind my soul, I am not defined by bondage. I am not reduced to my struggle. I am not stuck. I am not forsaken. I am not forgotten. I am not the same. The chains that tried to claim me will not write the next chapter. The fear that tried to shape me will not decide my next move. The shame that tried to silence me will not have the final word. I am free because you say I am, because you paid for it, because you finished it, because you are with me. And because you are with me, I will keep walking, even when I feel resistance, even when I feel nothing, even when my past tries to call me back. I will keep walking, because something has shifted. The atmosphere has changed. The chain has cracked. The lie has lost power, and freedom has begun, not just in theory, not just as a hope, but as a present reality. I do not wait to feel it. I choose to live like it is already mine, because in you, it is. Lord, as I breathe in this moment, surrounded by stillness and a hush that only morning brings, I remember what you have done. I remember not just because I want to feel inspired, but because remembrance is how my heart steadies itself when faith feels fragile. It is not always about new signs or fresh wonders. Sometimes it is about revisiting the miracles you have already performed and letting them remind me of who you are. The chains may have fallen, the lies may have loosened, but now comes the part where I learn to walk in this freedom, not by force, but by remembering. You have never left me, not once, not even when I walked away, not even when my doubt was louder than my prayers, not even when my choices grieved your heart. You were there, patient, watching, waiting. You never withheld love. You never revoked grace. Even in silence, you were still moving. Even in delay, you were still working. Even in brokenness, you were still blessing. How many times did you protect me? And I did not even know I was in danger. How many nights did you stand guard while I wept into my pillow, thinking no one noticed? God, you have come through before, and not just once. I remember the job that came right when I ran out of options. I remember the conversation that changed everything. I remember the moment of peace that flooded me in the middle of chaos. I remember the strength that rose when I did not think I could take one more step. I remember the forgiveness I received when I thought I had messed it up for good. I remember the door that opened after every other one shut. I remember the kindness of a stranger, the perfectly timed word, the unexpected provision, the way you used even the hardest things to lead me back to you. It is easy to forget in this fast-moving world, easy to let the pressure of today erase the testimony of yesterday. But I choose to remember. I choose to pause and name what you have done. Because when I name it, it no longer hides in the shadows. It no longer gets lost in the noise of what I still want or need. It becomes an anchor, a reminder that I have seen your hand before, and I will see it again. And it is not just what you have done for me. It is what I have seen in others. I have seen families restored when it seemed impossible. I have seen hearts softened that were once hardened by bitterness. I have seen prodigals return. I have seen healing that doctors could not explain. I have seen hope bloom in hospital rooms. I have seen prayers whispered in desperation become testimonies of triumph. You are not just a God of the past. You are the same yesterday, today, and forever. And if you have done it before, you can do it again. Maybe not in the same way, maybe not on the same timeline, but always with the same love, always with the same power, always with the same purpose. Lord, help me not to let my memory be selective. Help me not to only dwell on what hurt me or disappointed me. Help me recall the full picture, the grace in the middle of the grief, the provision in the waiting, the breakthrough after the silence, the light that showed up even in my darkest hour. You have been faithful in ways I did not understand until long after the moment passed. You have been near even when I could not feel you. You have been weaving beauty even in seasons that felt like ashes. And I know you still are. I know that in this moment, you are working in ways I can't yet see. You are arranging pieces. You are softening hearts. You are aligning timing. You are preparing answers. And even if I never see the whole picture, I trust the hands that hold the brush. I trust the heart behind the plan. I trust the one who gave me breath this morning. Let the remembrance of your goodness reframe my present. Let it quiet the panic. Let it slow the striving. Let it hush the lies that say nothing will ever change. Let it silence the voice that says, I am too far gone. Because if you have met me in the valley before, you will meet me here again. If you have parted waters before, you will make a way again. If you have calmed storms before, you can still speak peace. My soul does not need more proof. It needs more perspective. So I lean into the moments that marked me, the times I felt your presence so clearly, it brought me to my knees. The times I had no words, but you understood my silence. The times I was on the verge of giving up, and you sent someone or something that reminded me I was not alone. I carry those moments with me like sacred stones, like altars in the wilderness, like journals etched in my soul. They are more than memories. They are fuel. They are evidence. They are my reason to keep going. God, when doubt tries to take root, let memory rise like a flood. When fear tries to speak, let testimony be louder. When the enemy whispers that you have forgotten me, let my spirit shout the stories of your faithfulness. I do not have to wait for the next miracle to worship. I worship now because I have already seen too much to stop believing. I have already tasted and seen that you are good, and no matter what lies ahead, that truth remains. This morning, I do not ask for signs. I ask for sight. Open my eyes to what you have already done. Help me see the fingerprints of grace all over my past. Help me view my journey through the lens of redemption, not just survival. Let the weight of your past mercies outweigh the weight of my present burdens. Let me wake up not just to a new day, but to new awareness. You have been here all along. Every step, every tear, every miracle. I remember now, not because I want to dwell in the past, but because remembrance leads me forward. It reminds me that you are not finished, that this story is still unfolding, that this chapter is not the end, that the same God who moved mountains before is still moving, still breathing. Backled, still holding me, still good. And if you were with me then, you are with me now. So I take one more step, not because I see every answer, but because I remember who walks beside me. Lord, the more I remember what you have done, the more I feel the stirrings of something being rebuilt inside me. As I sit in this quiet hour, letting the memory of miracles ground me, I sense the beginning of healing, not the kind that happens in a flash or with a shout, but the deep, slow kind that grows in silence. It does not announce itself. It does not ask for attention. It just happens layer by layer, moment by moment, like dawn slowly breaking over the night. You know how long I have carried the weight. You know the parts of me that have been fractured by loss, by fear, by betrayal, by the weariness of long seasons. I have tried to cover it, tried to stay strong, tried to keep moving, but you see through it all. You see the soul that longs to be whole, and you do not turn away from the broken. You draw near. You do not rush the process. You do not shame the struggle. You kneel beside me and stay. You gather the pieces without judgment and begin again with hands that only know how to create beauty. Father, I used to believe that healing would look like forgetting, like moving on without a trace of the pain. But I am learning that true healing is not about erasing the story. It is about redemption. It is about finding you in the middle of the wounds. It is about learning that scars do not disqualify me, they testify to what I have survived. It is about grace reaching into the places I thought were too far gone and declaring them worthy of restoration. There are days when I still feel the ache. There are nights when the questions return and the silence feels too long. But even in those moments, you are working. Even when it feels like nothing is changing, you are restoring something deep inside me. You are softening what became hardened. You are breathing into what I let grow cold. You are lifting what was buried under disappointment. You are healing me, not just the surface pain, but the hidden places I stopped talking about. You are healing my thoughts, my memories, my habits, my identity. Cold. You are reminding me of who I am in you and gently peeling away the layers of shame and fear I have worn for too long. God, help me be patient with the process. Help me not rush what you are doing in me. Help me honor this journey of becoming whole. It does not always feel sacred. Some days it feels messy. Some days it feels like going backward. But even on those days, I choose to believe that you are present. You are not looking for perfection. You are looking for surrender. And so I open my hands again. I place every cracked piece into yours. I bring my disappointments, my confusion, my unresolved prayers, my tired heart, and I trust you to hold them all. This healing does not come through striving. It comes through surrender. It comes when I stop pretending and start allowing. It comes when I invite you into the places I have tried to handle on my own. when I stop performing and simply be, when I stop hiding and let your light in. And in those moments, healing flows not always with a feeling, but with a peace that cannot be explained. A peace that reminds me I am not alone in this. You have promised to bind up the brokenhearted, to bring beauty from ashes, to restore the years the locusts have eaten. I do not always know how you will do it, but I believe you will. I believe that what felt like the end will be the beginning, that what was lost can still be redeemed, that what was broken can be more beautiful than before, not in spite of the pain, but through it, because your love knows how to make all things new, not by erasing the past, but by rewriting its meaning through grace. So I release my timeline, I release my expectations, I release the pressure to be further along. I rest in the truth that healing is not a destination. It is a daily choice, a daily trust, a daily invitation to receive what I cannot earn. You are not disappointed with my pace. You are not measuring my worth by my progress. You are simply asking me to stay close, to stay open, to let you finish what you started. Let the tears be welcome. Let the silence be holy. Let the questions become prayers. Let the waiting become worship, because every moment I spend in your presence is part of the healing. Every breath I take with you near is part of the restoration. And even when I feel like nothing is happening, the roots are growing deeper. The cracks are being filled. The wounds are closing not with fear, but with faith. You are the God who touched the leper and made him clean, who called the bleeding woman daughter, who restored sight with mud, who raised the dead with a whisper. You are still the same today, and so I bring my wounds not to be hidden, but to be held, not to be silenced, but to be seen. And I let your love do what only it can do. Thank you for being gentle with me, for never rushing me, for never growing tired of my process. Thank you for calling me beloved, even when I feel broken. Thank you for believing in who I am becoming, even when I doubt it. You are healing me in ways I did not know I needed. You are speaking life into places I thought were dead. You are writing a story of redemption, one chapter at a time. And this chapter, this holy, quiet, slow chapter is where the deepest healing begins. Father, as healing continues its quiet work within me, I notice something else beginning to rise, where confusion once lingered. There is now a gentle desire for clarity, not the kind that answers every question at once, but the kind that steadies my steps, the kind that helps me see just enough to move forward without fear. I realize how often uncertainty has drained me, how many hours I spent replaying possibilities, weighing options, wondering which way to turn. And now, in this stillness with you, I bring that uncertainty into the light. You know how easily my mind can scatter, how quickly I analyze every detail until peace slips away, how often I mistake noise for direction and urgency for wisdom. I confess that I have followed pressure before listening for your voice. I have rushed decisions out of fear of falling behind. I have said yes when you were inviting me to wait, and I have waited when you were calling me to move. But you are patient with me. You do not condemn my hesitation. You gently lead me back to the place where I remember that you are not the author of confusion. Lord, I ask you to quiet every competing voice. Silence the expectations that are not from you. Still the comparisons that distort my calling. Calm the anxiety that urges me to decide before I am ready. I want to hear you clearly, not the echo of my own worries, not the opinions that pull me in opposite directions, but your steady guidance, the voice that leads without forcing, the voice that corrects without crushing, the voice that brings peace even when the path ahead is demanding. You promise that if I lack wisdom, I can ask you, and you will give it generously. So I ask now, not with desperation, but with trust. I ask for wisdom in my choices, wisdom in my work, wisdom in my relationships, wisdom in how I use my time and energy, wisdom in what I pursue and what I release. I do not want to be driven by fear of missing out. I want to be led by purpose. I do not want to chase every opportunity. I want to walk in alignment. God, I lay before you every decision that feels heavy, the ones I have delayed because I am afraid to choose wrong, the ones I have rushed because I am tired of waiting, the crossroads that keep me awake at night. I place them all into your hands. I trust that you see the full picture, not just the immediate outcome. You know which doors carry peace and which ones carry distraction. You know which paths will shape me and which ones will drain me. Teach me to recognize the difference. Help me to understand that clarity does not always arrive as certainty. Sometimes it comes as a quiet assurance. Sometimes it comes as a gentle restraint. Sometimes it comes as a door that closes even when I want it open. And sometimes it comes as courage to step forward even when I feel unprepared. Give me the discernment to recognize your leading, even when it does not match my expectations. Train my heart to trust your timing more than my impatience. I ask you to remove every fog that has clouded my vision, where disappointment has made me cautious. Restore hope where past mistakes have made me hesitant. Restore confidence. And where fear has made me second-guess myself, restore boldness. Let me see clearly who I am and what you have entrusted to me. Let me stop shrinking back when you are calling me forward. Let me stop striving for certainty when you are inviting me into trust. Lord, order my steps today. Guide my conversations. Shape my responses. Direct my thoughts. Let my decisions flow from peace, not pressure. Let my plans be flexible enough to follow your lead. Teach me to pause before reacting. Teach me to listen before speaking. Teach me to wait without anxiety and move without hesitation. I want my life to reflect wisdom that comes from you, not cleverness born of fear. I release the need to understand everything. I release the burden of predicting outcomes. I release the pressure to figure it all out at once. I choose to walk one step at a time, trusting that you will reveal what I need when I need it. You are not hiding your will from me. You are guiding me into it. And even when the path feels unfamiliar, I believe you are with me. As this morning unfolds, let clarity continue to rise within me, not as a loud declaration, but as a steady confidence, not as a rigid plan, but as a living trust. Let me recognize your hand in the small nudges and the quiet confirmations. Let me follow without fear. Let me choose without regret. Let me move forward knowing that, even if I stumble, you are there to steady me. I place my future in your care, not because I am uncertain, but because I am secure in who leads me. You have brought me this far, not by accident, but by intention. And as I take the next step, I do so with a heart that is learning to rest, a mind that is learning to listen, and a spirit that is learning to trust. Lord, in the hush of this morning, as light begins to stretch across the horizon, I feel something awakening within me. It is not a demand. It is not even a question. It is a song rising from a place so deep it could only have been touched by you. After the stillness of healing and the gift of clarity, praise has found its way to the surface, not because every burden has lifted, but because my heart has remembered who you are in the middle of it all. This praise is not forced. It does not require everything to be perfect. It flows from a place that knows you are worthy, regardless of what surrounds me. There is power in this kind of praise, not the kind that needs a crowd or music or applause, but the kind that breaks chains quietly, the kind that reclaims the atmosphere of my life, the kind that draws my attention off the storm and fixes my eyes on the one who walks above it. Lord, I praise you, not only for what you have done, but for who you are. You are steady when everything else shifts. You are faithful when emotions falter. You are present when others walk away. You are holy in the mystery and kind in the waiting. I remember now the stories of praise in the midst of the impossible. How Paul and Silas sang from a prison cell, not knowing if morning would bring deliverance or death. How Jehoshaphat sent worshippers ahead of the army, believing you would fight for them. How David danced with abandon, not because life was without sorrow, but because his spirit could not remain silent in the face of your goodness. I may not have a songbook or instruments, but I have breath, and with it I will declare that you are good. You are near. You are mighty to save. Let my praise create space for miracles. Let it silence the voice of fear. Let it shift my focus from what I lack to all that you are. I do not need to wait for every prayer to be answered before I lift my voice. I do not need to see the end before I begin to rejoice. There is a deeper kind of faith that praises before the provision, that sings while the battle still rages, that celebrates in the face of impossibility. That is the kind of praise I offer you now, the kind that costs something, the kind that speaks louder than my doubts. God, let my praise be a weapon. Let it tear down the walls of discouragement. Let it push back the darkness that tries to creep in with every whisper of defeat. When my soul feels heavy, let praise be the doorway to joy. When circumstances press in, let praise remind me that I serve a God who is not intimidated by my limits. When I feel forgotten, let praise awaken the truth that I am seen, held, and carried. There is no moment too broken, no place too silent, where praise cannot reach and draw heaven near. I choose praise when I do not feel like it, because I know feelings are not the foundation of my faith. I choose praise when the answers delay, because I trust your timing. I choose praise in weakness, because it is in my weakness that your strength is made perfect. I choose praise even when tears fall, because you are collecting every one of them. This praise is not a performance. It is an offering, not polished. Psalmed, not rehearsed. Psalmed, but real and raw and honest. And I believe it is the kind you treasure most. Lord, may my life become a sanctuary of praise, not just in the quiet mornings, but in the busy afternoons and uncertain evenings. Let my choices reflect worship. Let my words echo gratitude. Let my thoughts lean toward wonder. Let praise become my rhythm, not only in times of breakthrough, but in the slow and sacred in between. Teach me to praise you, not only with my lips, but with how I live, with how I respond to disappointment, with how I show grace, with how I remain faithful in what feels unseen. Praise reshapes my perspective. It lifts me above the noise of complaint and frustration. It pulls me out of the pit of self-pity and into the presence of possibility. It reminds me that I am not a victim of my surroundings, but a child of a victorious king. It tells my fear that it has no final say. It speaks to my weariness and stirs up hope. It changes the atmosphere, not because everything suddenly becomes easy, but because my spirit becomes anchored again in truth. Let every hallelujah I whisper today be a declaration of trust. Let every thank you be a stone laid down in the foundation of a new season. Let every breath I give back to you be a seed planted in faith, knowing that praise will always yield a harvest of peace. Even if I do not see the fruit immediately, I will keep sowing with my song. Even if the clouds remain, I will keep lifting my eyes. Even if silence lingers, I will not withhold my worship. You are worthy now and always. So I praise you for what I know and for what I do not yet understand. I praise you for what has been healed and for what is still being restored. I praise you for what you have already done and for what you are preparing to do. I praise you not only for open doors, but for the ones you have lovingly closed. I praise you for the strength you give and the rest you provide. I praise you for the battles won and for the ones where you have simply stood with me while I waited. Let today be filled with praise that ripples beyond this moment. Let it seep into every conversation, every task, every breath. Let it be the undercurrent of my decisions, the backdrop of my thoughts, the song that stays with me even in silence. Let praise become more than something I do. It becomes who I am, a worshiper in every season, a witness to your faithfulness, a voice that keeps singing because it has seen the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. God, as this early morning continues to unfold and the world around me slowly begins to stir, I sense something deep settling into place. It is not loud or sudden. It is not a breakthrough that crashes in like a storm. It is quieter than that, softer, and yet it carries more weight than any declaration I could make. It is the peace of knowing you have been here all along. Every word spoken, every silence held, every tear not wasted, every breath turned into prayer. You have received it all. And now, in the calm after this intimate pouring out, I find myself leaning into something beautiful. Not a conclusion, but a beginning. Father, I do not pretend to understand all that lies ahead. The road is still full of unknowns. The questions I brought to you in the dark have not all been answered, but something has shifted in me. The weight I came with feels lighter. The confusion that clouded my thoughts has made room for a quiet clarity. The ache that throbbed in silence has softened into something more bearable. I no longer feel like I am walking alone, even in the moments that still ache. I know now they do not separate me from you. They draw me nearer. It is here, in this sacred stillness, that I realize the true treasure of this time is not just what I asked for. It is who I have encountered. I did not wake up in the hours before dawn to chase after blessings like someone desperate for results. I came seeking you, and I found you not in the form of miracles falling from the sky, but in the steady comfort of your presence, in the way you listened without interrupting, in the way you reminded me I am still loved, still chosen, still held. Lord, I thank you for this journey, for meeting me in my rawness and not turning away, for hearing me even when my words faltered, for remaining close when I questioned, wrestled, wept. You are not a distant God who demands perfection before you draw near. You come close in our imperfection. You walk into our weariness and make it holy ground. And this space, this quiet hour of communion, has become something sacred to me. It is no longer just a place of request. It is a sanctuary of trust. There are things I still need, burdens I still carry, people I still intercede for. But now, I do not carry them alone. I offer them back to you, one by one, and I feel your hands receive them, gently, willingly, patiently. I do not know how or when you will move, but I trust that you will. And more than that, I trust that you are already working under the surface, behind the scenes, within the hearts I have prayed for, and in ways I may never fully see. You are the God who parts seas, yes, but you are also the one who speaks in whispers, who shows up in daily provision, in unexpected kindness, in the quiet strength to keep going when everything screams to stop. That is the miracle I hold on to now, that you are not only God of the extraordinary, but God of the ordinary days, the Monday mornings, the tired afternoons, the long waits and small wins, the moments that no one else sees but still matter to you. I ask now, not for a final word, but for an open heart, one that stays awake to wonder, one that keeps listening even when the rush of life returns, one that keeps looking for you in the places most people overlook. I want to carry this stillness with me, not as a memory, but as a practice, to return here often, not just at 3 a.m. or 4 or 5, but in the middle of chaos, in the moments between appointments, in the pauses of my thoughts. Let this morning become my pattern, a way of life that chooses connection over distraction, presence over pressure, faith over fear. Lord, bless every heart that has walked this journey with me, each one who whispered these prayers, who dared to hope, who kept listening even when it hurt. Bless them not only with answers, but with nearness, with courage, with rest, with the assurance that they are not forgotten, not disqualified, not too broken for beauty. Let them know you delight in their honesty, that their vulnerability is not weakness, it is worship, that their longing is not wasted, it is seen and known and tenderly held by you. For those who have walked through loss, let this morning bring a breath of comfort. For those battling fear, let your perfect love cast it out. For those waiting in silence, let the stillness no longer feel empty, but full of possibility. For those longing for direction, let your peace guide them more clearly than a map ever could. Let this prayer not be the end of something, but the beginning of a deeper, more personal, more powerful walk with you. As this final chapter closes, I do not want to say goodbye. I want to say thank you. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you for carrying what I could not. Thank you for your patience with my questions, for your nearness in my confusion, for your steady hand that kept reaching, even when I withdrew. And thank you for reminding me that sometimes the greatest breakthrough is simply remembering I am not alone. To the one listening right now, thank you for staying through each word, for allowing your soul to breathe, for choosing to come close to God in these sacred morning hours. This journey was not just mine, it was ours, and I believe heaven was near each time you opened your heart. Your presence here mattered. Your voice matters. Your prayers are not overlooked. You are seen, loved, and called into something beautiful, even now. If you feel led, I invite you to share your reflections, your prayers, or even your silent hopes in the comments below. Your story may become someone else's encouragement. Your voice may help lift another. Let this space be more than a video. Let it be a meeting place for faith, for healing, for hope. And if this morning prayer has spoken to you, I warmly invite you to subscribe to this channel. Share this video with someone who may need it today. Let us continue to build a rhythm of seeking, of trusting, of walking together in faith. Each new day is an invitation to draw closer to God. May we never lose sight of the miracle that morning brings. And now, as light spills gently over the horizon, like a whisper of mercy painting the sky, may your spirit rise with it. May you feel the breeze of grace on your skin, the calm of living water washing over every anxious thought. May this be the kind of dawn that does not just change your day, but transforms your life.